Yes, it's the new Toyota LandCruiser 70 series. I remember saying about 5 years ago that these would be out of production soon. Yet here we are in 2024 with a new model. The main difference with the new model, apart from a refreshed design, so it's got new headlights there, LEDs, halo style, daytime running lights, a chunkier bonnet that really sticks up. You can see it from the back here, really ramps up. It's got this chunky section on the top, which is kind of strange because the other big thing that the new model introduces is a 2.8 litre 4-cylinder engine. This is the familiar 4-cylinder from the Prado, Hilux, Fortuner, a lot of other vehicles under Toyota's fleet. It's now available in the 70 series body style. This new engine, well, it's not a new engine, but this engine option brings in an automatic as well. So the V8 was never available officially with an automatic. Having the automatic available here, it should really open up the market even more. I mean, the 70 series already has a very specific market, like farmers and tradies that want a heavy duty vehicle. Obviously this is a heavy duty vehicle. But with the automatic, it just opens it up a bit further. So some of the older farmers, you know, you might have bad legs or something like that. They're sick of driving the manual. This introduces the automatic, so it's just same vehicle basically, just now with the automatic. For this video, we'll mainly concentrate on checking out the performance. I'm so excited to check the 0 to 100 time for some reason. I don't know why, but even before this was announced, I often thought, you know, would a 2.8 engine conversion be pretty good? Because very similar power, but a lot more torque. So 500 Newton meters in this new model, up from 430 in the V8. With the automatic as well, I think it would be a lot quicker. Not that it's meant to be a quick vehicle to begin with, but I don't know, we'll check it out anyway. I've got a few of these booked in, so the twin cab and the wagon as well. I'll do a more hardcore off-road test and things with those, but for this video, we'll just check out the performance. This is the absolute base spec too, so it's probably the lightest weight model of the lot. And by base spec, I really mean base spec. This has absolutely nothing inside, really. It does have an updated touchscreen. I do like that Toyota has introduced some more storage options around the place. So you've got little cavities and little cup holders and things everywhere, and a flip down little console box. You've also got some storage behind there too, as well as behind the seats. Very basic seats continue. Not much support. I mean, they're comfortable enough. There's a little bit of a bolster on the side there. You can kind of see it on that one a bit more. So you do have some lateral support, but yeah, not really that much. They're covered in kind of this vinyl material, so you don't have to worry about them getting all dirty. Speaking of which, all the floor in this WorkMate variant is all plastic, so you don't have to worry about dirtying any of the floor. You can get in there with muddy boots and so on. It's actually got really thick rubber mats as well. Big step up to get in. There is a side step, but it's very high. They've mounted it right up near the sill there, which is great because it doesn't mean it's going to snag anything when you're off-roading. It just means it's kind of pointless because you're almost stepping, by the time you step to there, you've pretty much stepped in anyway. But yeah, very high seating position. You can easily see out and around you. Big, tall, flat windows. Just a basic grab handle to shut the door. I think the old model had a little armrest as well. Maybe that's because this is the WorkMate variant. Got to really slam the door too. Key start as well. And this example, it doesn't come with a remote to unlock the doors. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't know if it's just this example, this press car just doesn't, they're missing the little remote key or something, but there's no central locking. So you lock this, the other side doesn't lock. Old school climate control settings, or it's not climate control, but air conditioning. You've got adjustable air conditioning that's maintained from the previous model. So you don't just turn the aircon on, you can actually adjust how much aircon you want it to be on. Then these old school sort of toggle switch type selectors, and you can change your heat and so on. And down below you've got some driving functions, hill descent control, and then you've also got that new 6-speed automatic. It does have a manual mode, so just flick it over, you can go up and down through the gears. It does have a little readout there to display to show you what gear you're in. And then down here you've got your transfer case with low and high range. This being the WorkMate example means you don't get front and rear diff locks or anything like that. It's just all pretty basic. Also notice you've got a little bottle holder on the passenger side there. I don't think that was in the previous model. Might have been in the 70th anniversary edition, but it's not on the driver's side, it's just on the pass side. Overall though, definitely very old school dash, although they have updated that, so it's got this silver trimming there. Looks a bit neater. Still got your very clear gauges along the bottom there. Very simple to understand and read, and then they've put, or Toyota's put its common digital readout there on the right hand side. You can still go through and have all your different options and display modes and things. Go through your settings as well. Turn your lane keep off and lane departure warning and everything off if you want to. You can do it from this button too, actually. You just hold that down and that little green symbol will disappear. All right, we'll go for a drive now and then we'll get stuck into the performance testing. I'm genuinely excited to see what it can do, 0 to 100. Not that it matters at all, like it totally doesn't matter. I just am interested to see what figure it produces. With the V8 model, I think the best I ever got from a single cab was about 12.5 seconds or 13 seconds. My guess is this will do it about 11.5 or something like that. But again, it doesn't matter at all. I just admire these things because they're like, I think I said this once before in a previous review, it's like an immaculately restored classic car. And this one's got, you know, a modern engine conversion, if you like. So it's just got that cool appeal to it. To most people, like my wife would think it's a piece of shit, and it is to some extent, but it's a very specific piece of shit with a very specific set of skills. And for what it's intended for, it performs superbly. Live axle suspension, front and back, leaf springs at the back. It can tow 3.5 tons and it can carry about a ton in the back pretty much. It can go off-road probably better than any other standard production car. Excellent approach angle, excellent departure angle, and heaps of ground clearance. The steering is a little bit heavy, partly due to those tall tyres, I suspect, and there's not that much communication through the wheel. It's kind of got that old school Toyota steering feel where it's just, yeah, pretty numb, but not that you'd expect anything sporty with a vehicle like this anyway. The ride comfort isn't too bad. We're about to hit a very patchy bit of road where I test all the vehicles. There's a lot of squeaks and rattles going on, as you can probably hear. There's a jack and other bits and pieces and tools and stuff behind this seat, so if you tied them down a bit better you might reduce some of those rattles. But look, I've driven some dual cab utes along here and they bounce and rattle around more than this, but in saying that, if you compare it to an SUV, then obviously they're going to be more comfortable than this. The other bit of driver engagement that's missing is of course the manual transmission. With the automatic, it is a little bit boring to drive in comparison to the manual, but it is more relaxing and it's smoother. There will be some buyers that will, you know, demand a manual for off-road use or heavy duty use, but then again there'll be others that will enjoy the option of the automatic because they can do a lot of touring and things and they don't have to worry about constantly changing gears. Off-road can also be better with the automatic because you can gradually go through really technical situations without burning out the clutch. But it all just comes down to personal preference, I guess. Out on the highway, look, this is not a refined vehicle by any means. There's quite a bit of wind noise. There's a very boxy and square shape, obviously. And there's a bit of tyre roar from these narrow wheels. But it's not as bad as you might expect. I think going with the 4-cylinder helps to bring the noise down a bit as well. This just hums along at about 1700 or 1800 RPM at 100 kilometers an hour, whereas the V8 with the 5-speed manual required about 2000 RPM to maintain 100 kilometers an hour. So you've got that lower revs, but I also think this 4-cylinder engine is smoother to run. It hums along, whereas the V8 sort of chugs along and it's a bit offbeat in its note, whereas this makes it a more refined vehicle overall on the highway. we go, 0 to 100 in 11.3 seconds. What did I guess, about 11.5 or something? I think it's decent performance. For what it is, you wouldn't want much quicker than that in a vehicle like this, and in very hot weather. Today it was about 33 or 34 degrees, I think it said on the dash, so very, very warm. You can probably see I'm sweating. I think that's a respectable time. What wasn't a respectable time though is the braking. 54, 55 meters is probably the longest distance I've ever tested in 10 years of testing. It all comes down to, or a lot of it comes down to, these skinny cheese cutter style tires. They're very good off-road, especially in certain conditions, but on the road they're pretty awful. Like that tall sidewall means there's a lot of flex, and they're just too narrow to pull up this heavy vehicle. I'll be testing out the GXL model soon that has the alloy wheels with fatter tires, so we'll see how that shapes up, but as it is, that's not good braking. Even so, I still love these things. I don't know why I get such enjoyment out of driving it, probably because it is just back to basics motoring. And it's the same with the new model. That's what I love, that they haven't fiddled around with it too much and changed it to something that it's not. It's still an old school, raw vehicle made for heavy duty applications. So the people that buy these, they're going to be towing, they're going to be carrying heavy things, and doing all sorts of hard work in them. I just enjoy driving them as they are standard, but yeah, for the people that buy these, remote farmers and things, they want something that's reliable, dependable, nothing's really going to break on it because everything is heavy duty. Sure, it doesn't come with some of the modern safety tech, and the interior is, some of the technology there is definitely dated, but again, you know, nothing's really going to break there. It's not very brittle at all. So I think Toyota has done well to retain that heavy duty nature. Speaking of towing, and classic cars actually, if you're looking to transport a vehicle, whether it's local or interstate, our friends over at Upmove can help you out. Basically, they're partnered with a number of transport companies who all compete for your business. All the transport companies that they're partnered with are vetted and reliable, so you know you can trust them and you know you're going to get the best deal. Basically, you tell them what you want to move and where you want it taken, and they will sort it all out for you. Head over to Upmove, linked in the video and in the description below, for a quote or more information.